Welcome to There's No Place Like Home, the radio show coming to you on WRXB 1590 AM and Pinellas County Connection TV. This program is presented to you as an opportunity to hear information that can help you fulfill the dream of owning your very own home. We also share information about upcoming special events and programs to help you enjoy the good life here in Pinellas County, as well as other items of interest. The sponsor of this program is the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County, which offers the First-Time Home Buyers Program, your key to homeownership, helping people in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties make their dreams of homeownership a reality. I'm Jane Merlin, your host for today's show, and my co-host Frank Bowman is actually on the other side of the table this morning because he is actually going to be our guest. We're going to be talking about some of the exciting multifamily development properties that we are currently involved in, and I know that you're going to want to grab a pen and paper and take some notes about some great homeownership opportunities that you won't want to miss out on. But before we get into today's topic, I'm still going to make Frank work and have him give you an important message from our sponsor. Frank, good morning.
Good morning, Jane. And our sponsor, of course, is the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County, and we refer to them as the HFA. They are offering the First-Time Homebuyers Program for individuals in Pasco, Pinellas, and Polk counties who have never owned a home, have not owned a home in the last 3 years, or who are veterans. The HFA offers a low rate on its 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, and if you need a little help with down payment and closing costs, they can help with that too with the Home Key Second Mortgage, available in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties. Funds are limited, so if you've been thinking about buying a home, now's a good time to look into the HFA's program. To get your key to home ownership, call 727-464-8210 or visit the website at www.pinellascounty.org/community/HFA.
Thank you, Frank. Nice job as always. And that program is just really helping so many people in our community fulfill the dream of homeownership. And it's a great opportunity. Prices are low and financing is great right now. So we would encourage everybody who's thinking about getting a home that this is certainly the right time to do that.
That's definitely the case. And again, these mortgages are low cost, and the down payment assistance is a wonderful resource that can help folks who are right on the edge of being able to afford a home to get one. So
exactly right. That down payment assistance really makes all the difference in the world for some families. And by the way, if you want to reach us for more information or if you have comments about the show, give us a call at that same number, 727-464-8210, or you can email us at housingfinanceauthority@pinellascounty.org. And we'd like to remind you that you can also watch past shows by logging onto the county's website, which is www.pinellascounty.org, and you can even catch us on YouTube. Well, it is now my pleasure to introduce our special guest today, or I should say my special guest today, who is on the other side of the interview table today. Frank Bowman is the Housing Development Manager for Pinellas County Community Development and the Housing Finance Authority, and he has been with the county for more than 24 years. He's responsible for assisting Pinellas County communities, creating affordable housing for residents at various income levels. Welcome to There's No Place Like Home, Frank.
Well, good morning, Jane. It's very nice to be here.
Is that a typo? Have you really been here 24 years? You must have started when you were 10.
I started right out of college, worked for about 11 years with the county, and then went elsewhere for several years and have been back now about another 13 years. So it's been a two-part county employment situation.
Very good. And what is your role as the Housing Development Manager?
Well, my role within the Community Development Department and the HFA is to work primarily on multifamily projects. I know our program talks a lot about home ownership opportunities and our mortgage programs and our down payment assistance programs, but there's a significant portion of our population that is not interested in becoming a homeowner or is really not qualified to be a homeowner at this point, folks who still need good quality, affordable housing. And that's provided through a system of rental of apartments. And so I work with nonprofit and for-profit developers who are looking to produce new affordable housing, rental housing, and or lately we've also been doing a lot of work with the acquisition of older apartments and financing the renovation, the redevelopment of some of those older properties to bring them up to date in terms of amenities and especially in terms of energy efficiencies and things. So we work with potential developers, identify what kind of projects they want to do, and then provide what we refer to as gap financing. We never have sufficient funds to fund an entire project, but we certainly do provide a component of low-cost construction and acquisition financing that allows the project to be successful and requiring that they have a set-aside of units for lower-income tenants.
And we should also mention that some of that funding that is provided actually helps us to leverage more dollars for the development of some of these projects. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, that's exactly the way the process works. Because our resources are made available as gap financing, where we may require that 20 or 25% of the units in a project be set aside for folks at low income levels. And the target populations for rental properties have a little lower income than they do for our home ownership programs. So we serve people at below 60%, below 50% of the area median. And when we provide a portion of those dollars, we're actually enabling or leveraging other sources, investor money or other bank financing, to be involved in the housing industry in Pinellas County. A lot of times another funding source or a bank finance would possibly not be interested in funding an entire project. So we'll come in and fund 25-30% of that project. And for those of you who are in the development business, all of our loans are automatically subordinated to the private financing. So the bank is in first position in terms of risk and liability. And so we almost leverage $3 for every $1 that we spend.
And that's a significant amount of dollars for these projects to
Yes, it is.
make them actually be able to come to fruition. We do have a lot of exciting construction going on throughout the county right now, and we talked earlier about some of these are going to be rental communities, but we also do have some really exciting homeownership opportunities that are becoming available soon, and we're just going to kind of go around the county from north to south and in between and kind of talk about some of the things that are currently going on. The first one that I want to talk about, because I think that you're going to be breaking ground this fall, is Lorraine Leland in Dunedin.
Yes, this is a property, or a project, I should say, that we have been involved with for several years. Actually, the development of the project was put on hold when the housing market had its difficulties in 2008. But this property in Dunedin was historically the Highlander Village public housing property. It was owned and managed by the Dunedin Housing Authority, and the property became old and beyond its economic use and was torn down several years ago. And the Dunedin Housing Authority ended up donating the land to the Housing Finance Authority, and we've placed it in our community land trust. We have since sent out requests for proposals and have selected a developer who will be coming into that property, as you said, starting later this year, and will be developing 25 brand new green certified townhomes. And not only will they be certified as green units, meaning they're highly energy efficient and have a lot of sustainable products in them, they're also going to have alternative energy sources. With a program or a process that's called net zero energy. And each unit will have solar voltaic panels on the roof that will generate electricity. They'll be during all day long when that generation is highest because of the sun being out. The folks will be sending electric power back to the power company. And Progress Energy is very cooperative in this process, and so they'll be generating power at their housing site, and then of course if they're home using electricity, they'll power it with their own system. But then in the evening, when the sun goes down and the system no longer generates power, they'll be taking power from the grid. And they get paid for the power that they produce during the daytime, and they pay for the power that they use at night. And it's called net zero because it's intended for the net charge on that to be close to zero. We've monitored some projects like this up in the Gainesville area in preparation for this one. And folks up there have, again, a 1,400 square foot townhome. They may have a monthly electric bill of $20, $25.
Amazing.
It is, and many of our projects are trying to be as green as possible and energy efficient as possible, because not only is the front end cost of property needs to be affordable, but the ongoing operation costs. And there's nothing that lowers your monthly bills more than having an electric bill of $20, $25.
Oh, isn't that the truth? And think about what you can do with the money that you're saving.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally save some money for the future, which is awesome. You had mentioned too that the property was placed in the community land trust. Tell us a little bit about that concept.
Yes, several years ago when housing was booming in the early 2000s, most of the new properties that were being developed in the county were very expensive. Townhomes starting at $400,000 to $700,000, and we saw that it was not going to be sustainable for our workforce folks to be able to have housing. Whether it's rental or ownership. And so the Housing Finance Authority worked very closely with Pinellas County Community Development and the Board of County Commissioners, and it established our community housing programs. Part of that program is the establishment of a community land trust. And in that situation, the land underneath the buildings is essentially owned by the Housing Finance Authority, and then it is leased back to the owner, whether that be a property manager, developer for a rental apartment, or in the case of Lorraine Leland, each individual townhome will be on a land lease as well. The land lease serves to reduce the purchase price. In the case of Lorraine Leland, the houses without land costs are going to be about $30,000 a piece, less than they would have been if they were not in the land trust.
So people can save a substantial amount of money by getting into a community land trust program. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be having a show coming up in the near future that looks at this in a little greater detail for our single family communities. So very exciting. And on the Lorraine Leland project in the net zero, that's one of the first developments of its kind in Pinellas County, is it not?
Yes, it will be the very first affordable green project. There have been a growing number of new developments, new properties, single-family homes that are being constructed that are LEED or other green certified, and but this will be the first affordable property. These townhomes will be selling for under $150,000. And they're all going to be very nicely appointed. Again, they're 1,300 to 1,500 square feet, have garages, and so it's going to be an excellent opportunity for people to really move into the future.
Can't wait to see that one.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a really wonderful project. And the partners there, not only the Housing Finance Authority and the Dunedin Housing Authority, but the city of Dunedin itself has been very supportive. They've provided some assistance in terms of infrastructure improvements around the site. And Dunedin has sort of led the way locally in producing green buildings. Their community center, which is only 2 blocks from the Lorraine Leland site, is one of the first public green buildings in the county.
They have done some exciting things and are certainly well known as a green city.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned some of the other areas, or some of the other things around Lorraine Leland. This is going to be close to the trail and park, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right around the corner is a neighborhood park. And as I said, 2 blocks away is the community center. It is a block east of the Pinellas Trail, and it's only 3 blocks to downtown Dunedin. So it's really a lovely location. There's a lot of opportunity for people who work with the city or teachers who work at the local schools, and especially some of the employees who work at the hospital in Dunedin. They'll be able to buy an affordable property here and essentially walk to work.
Great location. Let's move on to another exciting community being created over in Clearwater, and that is Country Club Townhomes.
Yes, Country Club Townhomes was a project that was identified by the city of Clearwater. It's in their what they refer to as their East Gateway area, and it's not only going to provide an affordable home ownership opportunity. Again, this is going to be 31 townhomes that are developed there, but it's the city hopes that new people moving into that area is going to stimulate future growth. Developers are sometimes reluctant to sort of blaze new trails. So by having this particular project there and having it be successful, then it should stimulate additional new development in the area. But these, again, are going to be 31 townhome properties. Each one has 2-car garage, beautiful kitchens with granite countertops and the whole thing. And they're going to be selling for around $145,000 to $155,000.
And I think I had seen something recently that indicated that there were some special financing opportunities available for income-eligible individuals.
That is correct. Again, this is a partnership between Pinellas County and the Housing Finance Authority and the City of Clearwater. City of Clearwater also receives housing resources from the federal government, and they'll be using some of their funds to provide a significant amount of down payment assistance for folks who are interested in buying one of those Country Club townhome projects. Fantastic.
And there's a lot of exciting things happening in downtown Clearwater, and it's fairly close to that, so a lot of exciting things happening there. Let's move over now into Largo and talk about a property that I have literally seen developed from start to finish, and that's Bayside Court.
Yeah, well, Bayside Court is one of those projects that is developed by a private sector for-profit developer. It's the Richmond Group, and they do projects all over the country. But a couple of years ago, they came to us, and it was sort of exciting because for several years during the housing downturn, we saw very little projects coming from the private sector. I mean, they were smart not to be building new properties at that time. But this is one of the newer private sector developments that came along during our recovery period. And this is 144 rental units. It's on Clearwater Largo Road. The county has invested, and the HFA, part of our neighborhood stabilization program funds to purchase the land. The property is being developed on an old, very tired and worn out mobile home park site. The mobile home park had essentially gone out of business, gone into foreclosure, and the property was owned by a bank. And so our neighborhood stabilization program funds are specifically targeted to take foreclosed properties and redevelop them or fix them up. So this property is probably going to open sometime in August. And again, it's a beautiful new rental property. Again, very well-appointed apartments. And of the 144 units there, we have negotiated, because of our contributions, 48 of those will be set aside for folks who are at low income. So we do provide affordable housing, but they're blended in with market rate housing. And when I understand from the developer, there's already a lot of folks contacting them to see about getting a rental apartment there.
Oh, good. Well, I know I see a sign out there for leasing information that apparently they are currently leasing, so folks that are driving by can take note of that. We should also mention that we have information on the county's website, on the HFA's website, about some of the communities that we've been speaking about this morning.
And reminding me about the HFA, the Bayside Court project is like many that we're doing currently that have a real mix and match of funding sources. As I mentioned, the county brought the neighborhood stabilization funds there, but the Housing Finance Authority also issued $12.5 million in bond financing, which is just another financing mechanism that helps build multifamily projects. So, and then there's private investment money in there. So it's close to $20 million project, and it's also located in one of the City of Largo's redevelopment districts, and so the City of Largo has been a partner in that as well.
And it's a beautiful complex. I have seen some of the pictures of the interior of some of the units as the construction has taken place,
Right.
And it really has made a dramatic difference in that corridor there in Largo.
Right.
Another exciting community that is still in the development stages, I believe, is actually a senior community, and that's Pinellas Heights.
Yes, Pinellas Heights project is one where we are working with a not-for-profit agency. Matter of fact, one of the more important housing agencies in Pinellas County. It's called the Pinellas County Housing Authority. And they have their offices, their administrative offices are located at Ulmerton Road, right where it crosses the Pinellas Trail. And they're redeveloping that property to develop 153 new senior apartments. And again, those will be set aside for folks of lower income. Very, very nicely, nice amenities in terms of community space and outdoor space. And that's probably going to start construction somewhere before the end of this year as well.
All right, so that is another one to look forward to. Let's shift our focus a little bit. We've been talking a lot about some of the new construction that's taking place, but you had mentioned earlier in our opening that there's been a lot of dollars spent on renovating some of the older housing stock that we have here in terms of the rental communities. One of those I wanted to focus on first is over in Pinellas Park, Boardwalk Apartments.
Yes, the Boardwalk Apartments were originally built, I think, in the early 80s, and it was 36 units. All 2-bedroom, 2-bath, nice facility, but it had declined quite a bit. And the owner went into foreclosure, and the properties were taken back by a bank. And so they were bank-owned. One of our very long-term not-for-profit partners, a group called Contemporary Housing Alternatives of Florida, they identified this property and applied to us for funding. We were able to use Neighborhood Stabilization Program funds to purchase that property and to renovate it. And this is actually an approach to producing or what we call preserving housing. It's a lot less expensive to take an existing facility and purchase it and fix it up than it is to build new construction. For instance, new construction apartments costs $160,000, $70,000 a unit. With Boardwalk, because we bought it from the bank in foreclosure, and again, our renovations there were very much focused on energy efficiency and upgrading the quality of windows and doors and insulation and things like that. That ended up being under $100,000 a unit, and they're like new. And matter of fact, when it opened after the renovation, it took less than 2 months to completely lease up. So
wow.
Folks were very interested in it. Matter of fact, it's located close to 66th Street on 102nd Avenue, and there's a lot of job opportunities within just a mile or so from there. So we also like to build units, affordable units, close to where so folks who are working nearby can have an affordable, decent place to live.
And I know that this past May, there was actually a dedication of another community that has been recently enhanced, and that was the Norton Apartments.
Yes, the Norton Apartments are located in Clearwater on South MLK Boulevard. And that was another very, so I say, run down and decrepit property. There's 48 apartments there, and they actually had what we call project-based housing vouchers, so that the folks who lived in that property were extremely low-income folks, and they received a subsidy for their rent there. The property was owned by a private investor who had just not bothered to take care of the property, and he had entered into bankruptcy. And Pinellas County Housing Authority, working with us, directly with us, went in there and purchased that property, again, because it was in bankruptcy and it had 5 years of delinquent taxes and things like that. It was about to displace those 48 families. We worked in a broad partnership to bring resources in there to purchase that, and it's mostly the exterior is all renovated. Now they're doing the individual apartments. We went in, put in all new windows and doors, hurricane impact windows, which are also very energy efficient. All new Energy Star appliances, Super Sear air conditioning. Again, these elements help to make the property more affordable for folks to live in. Their electric bills are going to be much lower and everything else. So this was an area that had, as I said, declined significantly. It was a sort of a center of a lot of criminal activity. The Clearwater Police Department were out there almost daily. And now since the new ownership is in place, then we now have very, very happy residents. And at that dedication, the Clearwater Police Department made note of the fact that they're hardly ever out there anymore.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So that's another effect of improving a neighborhood by working on an individual property.
It really does have a domino effect, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Even, I think, in residential communities where you've got a lot of single-family properties, that broken window syndrome really holds true.
It really does. And, of course, the NSP program not only addresses multifamily, but I think we're going to have a program coming up soon that talks about the purchase of single-family foreclosed properties.
We are indeed. Proud Ground Pinellas, as a matter of fact, is the name of that program. So that was a nice little promotion for an upcoming show that we're excited about. It's hard to believe that we're already almost out of time, but I do want you to give people information on how to reach you. There might be a developer out there who's got a property that is in need of some help, or maybe looking to construct some new affordable housing. How do they get a hold of you?
Well, the best way is to call our main number, which is 727-464-8210. Ask for Frank Bowman. And we will be happy to sit down and talk with anybody who has a specific project or has some ideas or a line on some opportunities. We really work hard to make projects work. And we try to be innovative and creative and bring whatever resources out there to individual projects, again, to produce affordable housing for our citizens.
And I certainly know how hard you work to make these things happen, Frank. It's a pleasure to be able to work with you and see some of these things taking place firsthand. And congratulations on all the success that you've enjoyed with your career with the county and making some wonderful things happen out there for residents.
Mm-hmm. And it is rewarding. When we went to the dedication and saw how the new residents at Norton were reacting to a total change of their condition, it makes us understand why we do what we do.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
It is. It's wonderful.
Very good. Well, thanks so much, Frank, for being my guest today and being on the other side of the table, I should say. You'll be back with me next time as we talk about another interesting topic. I want to thank the folks with Pinellas County Communications Department. Dan's over there making us sound good and look good on the radio show. And we want to thank our friends at WRXB 1590 AM. And we would like you to join us next month for another edition of the show. Give us a call if you'd like more information about this show or you'd like to provide some feedback. I'm Jane Merlin. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, there's no place like home.